Belle Plaine City Council meeting into session. Should be noted, those in attendance are Councilperson Peck, Councilperson Schlusselman, Councilperson Morrow, Councilperson Malcolm, Councilperson Landit, City Administrator Steve Beck is here, Assistant City Attorney Gage Kinsler is here, the Mayor is here, City's Clerk Sandra Walton. I'd like to remind all in attendance, including the council and staff, to please shut off your cell phones or put them on the mute mode. That being said, let's rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let's move to agenda item number 4, approval of the consent agenda, council minutes of May 18th, council minutes of May 25th, receiving and filing the minutes from the May 24th, 2022 meeting of the Belle Plaine Community Library Board of Trustees meeting, and bills received. Questions, comments, or a motion? Okay, I'll go from there.
I move to approve the consent agenda, council minutes of May 18, May 25, the May 24th minutes from the meeting of the library board, and bills received.
Is there a second to that motion?
Second. Mary.
Any further comments on the motion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries 5-0. The agenda has been set. Now it's time for resident comments. Now it's time for Belle Plaine residents to make comments concerning issues on tonight's agenda or future agenda items. Please come to the podium, state your name and your address for the benefit of the clerk to get it in the minutes. Please address all comments to the entire city council. This is not a time to address individuals on the council or time for debate. For the council, this is a time for us to listen to ideas and information that come from our residents are bringing to our attention. And I also remind the council, this is not a time for debate. Please make all questions to the citizens as informational in nature as possible. That being said, are there any residents who wish to come to the podium tonight? Go ahead and come up.
My name is Jerry Ramirez, and I live over by John Park. And I'm here to ask what's going on with the house that's on that kitty corner there. I think the address is 1411, but I don't know for a fact. I know it was up before the somebody for being condemned a while back. Somebody came and put that raft, like 2 pieces up, and it's been sitting that way ever since. So I'm just wondering what the procedure is from that point. Are they going to condemn it? What happens next? I don't, that's what I'm trying to find out.
Council, that one, the property owner's got it up for sale. I believe we put a resolution, that one's on our list to go to court. I think we have 7 properties we're taking to court in demand.
Do you know when that will be going to court?
Which one is that? Which,
The one down by the park, 10th Avenue.
10th Avenue.
It's on the corner of
what's
10th.
the name of the owner? I don't.
Enos.
Enos. Okay, yeah, that one's, I think, been filed or is next to be filed. I think the one we're holding off on is the Oki property because we're unsure.
Okay, so yeah, then it's been filed in court, and COVID is still a problem with the court system. So
Yeah.
if it's not a criminal complaint, getting civil complaints into the court takes forever.
So you're saying that it is going to court to be condemned?
Yes.
So going to court, so
I mean, if they pass it, but
two things, so that if the guy's got it up for sale, so if somebody sells it, if he sells it to someone, they know that the city has got a nuisance complaint filed against it, and there are many nuisances they'll have to fix. If not, the city wants the property and will tear it down.
okay.
So it's not out of our mind, it's just a slow process.
Okay, no, I understand that. It's
Alternative, yeah, and alternatively, the court may, if they find a nuisance, but they don't award the property, they may say that, they have to fix it up, or the court, or the city can fix it up and assess the cost of the property itself. There's a couple options that the court could do.
Okay.
But it is obviously on the council's radar and also on the legal work.
Okay, all right, that's all we need to do.
Well, that's no problem.
Thank you.
I understand. We've been if you read all the emails I had from that guy telling me they were picking up, the trees and sticks from the yard for 6 months, and even I could have gotten picked up in that length of time.
Well, we picked them up, but they're in a pile now.
Well, that's better than he was doing. He told me at one point he had a guy working there every day for 3 solid months, and I drove by there every day for quite a number of weeks and never saw one person on the property. So
You're right, because I live right on the
Second or
corner
third
there.
shift.
Well,
Across from that, so,
we're aware of kind of what's going on.
Electricity.
okay, that's all I wanted to know.
Okay.
I know people around me are asking, and I said, well, I'll come down here and find out, so.
No, it's not going to escape from lack of attention, but it might be lack of the court process slowing us down.
Okay,
Any other residents who'd like to come before the council? Nothing from my main chicken person in the back row who worked so hard on this.
Tracy Popish, 601 11th Street. I want to say thank you for getting us this far. I know we're not quite over the hump yet, but I wanted to say how much I appreciate you guys taking this seriously and really doing the work that it took to get us to where we're at today. Thank you.
I appreciate the fact that as a resident, you came to the council, you put together a group, you wrote the original ordinance and got involved in it. And instead of just going on Facebook and putting a big bird on there and then throwing the bird at the council because we hadn't done anything, but you took charge. And I think people don't realize that the council will do a whole lot of things. We just have to be aware. I was on the phone today with someone complaining about grass being blown into the streets. And she says, do you know it's illegal? I said, yeah, I got a pretty good idea. And I said, so do all my officers. And he goes, why don't they stop that? And I said, at night, it's a little hard to see grass in the streets. Plus, I'm a little more concerned about break-ins and that kind of stuff from the police. I go, how about when you see it, call the police department and tell us, and we'll come down and investigate. She goes, I never thought of that. So then I asked, do you have one I should investigate right now? And she said, no, I just see it's in the streets. You once gave us a warning. I want to know why the rest of them aren't getting warnings. Okay, well, let's make Tracy happy tonight and go to number 6, unless there's any other residents. Discuss for possible passage the third and final reading of ordinance number 58, an ordinance allowing for the raising of urban chickens in Belle Plaine. Discussion? Comments? Okay, I'll go for a motion.
I make a motion to approve third and final reading of ordinance 58.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Last chance for discussion. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now, before you jump out, it's got to be published. And then we got to order the chicken bands, which we've been catalog shopping for. So Sandy and I figured out today we'll be ready to hand out the applications July 1.
Thank you.
Okay? So you can spread the word that come July 1, you can go get your applications. My assumption is you find a chicken class you want to take before then, you can do that in advance.
June 13th, Indian Creek Nature Center. Just throwing that out
Put-
there. That's the next one.
Put that on Facebook. There are good things to Facebook. That would be one of them. Thank you, council, for working hard on this.
Gage, you made it make a hot spot for you.
Get through.
Did you want to talk about that for the first year of 6 months?
Yeah. Well, I need the council to approve this. All right, our ordinance says it's January to December 31st is the license. We're gonna start on July 1. We talked about charging $25 for the license, and then come January 1, starts over the new year, they can get their new license then, and we'll go full year, but not charging a full license on July 1. one, if that's all right with the council.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's what we're gonna do. So the first one will be 25, but it'll be a 6-month license.
But it won't be prorated like if somebody comes in September. Just,
No,
it'll just
no.
be for the first
Mhm.
year. will be-
2022 will be
Yeah.
25, 2023 will be 50. And they have to come in January for the next one, not a year from now.
Right.
Okay, are we done with chickens? Anything else I haven't? I'm glad we talked
We'll
about
order
this.
some bands.
You want to hear the whole story on banding them.
That was interesting.
All right, 7A, discuss for possible passage of the second reading ordinance 22-6, which would amend the code of ordinances of the city of Belle Plaine by amending the provisions pertaining to sewer service charges. Sewer rates would go from $11.20 per thousand to $11.84 per thousand. Questions, comments? Discussion at all? Motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the second reading of ordinance 22-6.
Is there a second to that? Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Because that is a financial one, I will require you to go through the third reading. We won't suspend the third reading. B, discuss for possible passage the second reading of ordinance 22-7, which would amend the code of ordinances of the city of Belle Plaine by amending the provision pertaining to water rate charges. Water rates would go from $6.98 per thousand to $7.38 per thousand, and out of town rates would go from $8.92 to $9.43 per thousand. Discussion. Motion.
I move to approve the second reading of ordinance 22-7.
Is there a second to that?
I'll second. Judy?
Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Okay, discuss for possible approval, resolution 220601, a resolution that defines and explains the investment policy of the city of Belle Plaine, Iowa. I know Sandy and Mary both worked on this one. Sandy, do you want to explain to them how this even came about?
It came about because I've been working on procedures for the various areas to try and help our audit at the end of the year. Get some of the things off of there that they talk about from year to year. One of the areas that they talked about it was investments, so I started to look to see what our policy was, and when I pulled it out, the last one that I could find on file was 17 years old. So I pulled the boilerplate off of the state side, which was pretty close to what we were already using. It's not like there was some dramatic difference to it, but it is supposed to be reviewed every few years. So we went through it, updated anything that we thought needed modified slightly. Otherwise, this is pretty close to the boilerplate that the state recommends. And pretty close to what the city already had on file. But it will need to come back to council at minimum of every 3 years, if nothing else, for you to say, yep, still good. Move along. So this is where we're at. Just because there's stuff in the investment policy doesn't mean we have to invest in all of these types of things. These are just the things that are legal for the city to invest in. Some of this stuff is way outside my wheelhouse. And we would probably only do it, if a much larger organization was involved, like when we borrow money and you have to put money in escrow money, and some of that could potentially be invested in stuff like this.
We don't,
It would be on
we
the-
don't have the cash volume coming in.
No, it would be on the
Landfill.
advice of somebody much, much smarter than me.
Any questions or discussion? Well, if not, need a motion.
A motion for approval resolution 220601.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. Last chance for discussion. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, motion carries 5-0.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for looking into it. Sandy is the only clerk that's ever asked me how I wanted my name put on ordinances and resolutions. Do I want David R. Fish? Do I want Dave Fish? Do I just want Fish? She had to ask me that.
Conquistador.
Master.
Conquistador, I have to look up the spelling every time. I ain't gonna have it. Why it was easy to write a pass for students, Fish. Nine A, discuss for possible approval, a utility credit at 710 16th Street for a major water leak that occurred when a water heater broke, amount $929.60. Questions? I'm actually glad we do this for citizens. I just think it's appropriate if somebody gets smacked with
Yeah.
this, that you're at least giving them part of the sewer bill back. Need a motion then.
I make a motion to approve utility credit at 710 16th Street.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. Discuss for possible approval utility credit at 1109 15th Street for major water leak that occurred when a line broke. $392.
I
What?
move to approve a utility credit at 1109 15th Street in the amount of $392.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Garrett.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Discuss for possible approval, a new alcoholic beverage license at Hideaway Inc. doing business as Firefox on Main at 813 12th Street, Belle Plaine, Iowa, Class B beer permit with Sunday safe. Questions? There's no back history. It's a new liquor license.
They're gonna open shooting for July 1st.
Yeah, they're hoping to be open July 1st.
Oh, good.
Well, I need a motion.
I make a motion to approve alcoholic beverage license at 813 12th Street, Class B beer permit Sunday sales.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Good luck.
Thank you. Good luck. That's barbecue, folks.
Yeah.
Probably the biggest customer.
Don't
You'll
bet.
smell it. You'll just smell it all the time.
It's good to have competition, especially among customers.
Number 11, consideration of motion approving the Belle Plaine Community Development's request to close 12th Street between 7th and 10th Avenue and those corresponding side streets off 12th Street on July 3rd from 12 p.m. until 1 a.m. on the 4th of July for the annual car show, street dance, kids fun zone, and bags tournament. Questions?
How does that impact the theater?
Okay, I think July 3rd is a Sunday.
It is.
The kid zone's gonna be out of there by 7 o'clock, supposed to be. That'll be on the first block.
So I don't know. I don't know whether they've talked. I think they have talked to Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's all hammered out.
Okay. That's always a concern.
Always.
That was one of the reasons we wanted to have the kid zone there for the sound park, for the electrical, and
Got it.
so that it's easy to tear down, and so the theater can get back into business by 7:30.
Of course, you got a brewery down there sloshing it out. Still looking for a motion. Oh, come on, we'll be here all night.
I'll make a motion to approve the request to close 12th Street between 7th and 10th Avenue, corresponding streets, 12th Street on July 3rd from 12 to 1 a.m. and on the 4th of July for the annual car show, street dance, kids fun, and bag tournament.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0.
Yeah, maybe.
What?
4th of July for the annual car show, that should be.
1 a.m. on the 4th
Yeah,
of
1
1
July.
a.m. on the 4th of July.
I thought
Go
you
by
said
midnight,
Mary.
you're on 4th of July.
12 p.m. on the 3rd to 1 a.m.
Well
on the 4th.
thought that. Plus I copied it.
Last year.
2009. No, because the last 2 years have not been done the same way. I had to keep digging back in the stuff till I found one that was semi-normal. We had 1 year,
Semi-normal.
we had no 4th of July. What was that, 2 years ago? And then last year was different because of the
No
way
car
it was
show.
no car show.
Mhm.
And they weren't 100% sure on what time they wanted it closed, so I may have bumped it. I think I bumped it on both ends, just trying to make sure we got it covered.
Yeah.
Number 12, consideration of motion approving the Belle Plaine 4th of July committee's request to close 12th Street between 7th and 12th Avenues from 9 to 11:30 a.m. for the 4th of July parade. Questions on that? Need a motion?
I make a motion to approve the Belle Plaine 4th of July committee request to close 12th Street between 7th and 12th Avenue.
Need a second?
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Motion, consideration of motion approving the Belle Plaine City Council hire the security guards for the street dance. Security guards will cost $25 per hour. You would be hiring 3 guards from 8 to 12. What's that figure up to? $400. Back to, we're short police, so we'll be lucky to have one on. We'll have one on duty, but we may be a tired one.
Yeah.
And can't really expect Belle Plaine Development, the nonprofit, to have to pick up the bill. We are having a large committee meeting after the 4th to discuss paying for the band and things like this, and who needs to be involved, because Belle Plaine Development hasn't had a great amount of cooperation in some years. And to ask them to foot the bill when they're hoping, they'd like to show the $1,000 or more profit, but they're hoping to break even. I just told them how things the security department. If we had our normal police department, we could actually probably do it with one cop down there and one cop on duty in the car. We just aren't gonna have, we'll have some sheriff, but guess what, folks? The sheriff's got 2 guys that aren't certified either. They've gotta go to the academy. So he doesn't have, and I think he's one short too. Discussion? It's $300.
Even better.
Yeah. It's better. New guy running the security. I won't go into the guys we had last year. Discussion or motion?
I'll make a motion to approve to hire the security guards for the street dance.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. Last chance for discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Possible approval completing the Kirkwood building deal. And Steve, I didn't have time to talk with you. I put this sequence of emails in here that you and Jennifer had gone over. Tell me where we're at and what our concerns are to the council of this. Are we ready to approve it, or is there something? I just saw another one came in today.
Yeah, there was an email this morning at like 10:30 that where Troy from Kirkwood had answered Jennifer's questions. I think you probably had the last email.
For the one on,
Yes.
okay.
Yep.
On,
And I
if
can,
they needed the building.
right, and I can read what that email says if you'd like.
Would you?
It said, Troy says, hello, Jennifer. There could be a time where Kirkwood would have a high school completion student that would need a physical space to meet with an instructor. We have not had that request in the last 2 years. If the city would happen to have the space fully utilized, we could work with the Belle Plaine High School if they are to maintain their lease, or the Belle Plaine Library. I really don't see us making a space request in the future, if that helps.
So does that satisfy all our concerns?
The museum even offered that space as well, because we've done that.
So are we ready to approve this deal with Kirkwood?
I recommend that.
Questions from the council?
Do we have any concept yet about how we could be using this facility once we get it? Because I don't recall that we've ever really talked about what we would do with it.
We haven't.
We haven't. But it's a better deal than we ever got offered on the high school. Free with a warranty is pretty good.
Yeah, and a building that was maintained.
Yeah, it's pretty immaculate inside.
I mean, I just don't want to see it, personally don't want to see it get any private hands at this point in time. It might have a private source that we can rent it to, but at this point, I think it would behoove us not to take it as city property.
Kate and I are working on some things that would be very good for the community.
Okay. Thank you.
So it's unfortunate news that it's closing, but everybody is online now, so they don't really have a need for
I just
it.
saw Kirkwood's, I don't even know what committee recommended that their big building at the University of Iowa, they sell it and buy a smaller space.
Yeah,
I think they recommended that they do the same thing in Washington, Iowa. Those are all huge structures. A lot of it comes from the COVID time where everybody was doing stuff on Zoom.
It's just changing completely in how people are getting their classes.
but I think it's a really good deal for us, and they want to be good neighbors. I've talked to them and negotiated. They're going to put a lot of money into this thing, and it's going to be pretty turnkey when we get it. with the amount of money that they're going to be putting into it.
Oh, that's good. Plus, the Hart Memorial building itself is historic for the town, so it's great that that's going to get.
And one of my concerns was, you know, when you get a metal roof, often you get a 50-year warranty, but if it's not transferable, so I said I want to make sure that it was transferable to us.
So all this is being put in a written contract.
Yeah, this is a purchase agreement that
So
will be
we
working.
don't sign the contract until the lawyers have completely looked at the official.
Correct. And then we could pick out roof colors.
Should match the library.
Yeah, what color is the library?
It's 2 different colors.
It's a solar panel. Sorry, didn't mean to bring that up.
Yeah. Try and match the library, something to that.
That's what Sandy and I were thinking about, like a sandstone.
Because it was blue, but now it's kind of.
Yeah, it was blue,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, but now
It's
it's.
like one of these, it's like one of these two.
Yeah.
So we just
Steve,
going,
if you could just walk up there and hold it, I'll let you know which one matches.
Yeah, I will. Right now? See
no,
ya.
I don't want to take notes.
I'll motion for approval of completing the Kirkwood deal.
Good, give me a second on that.
I'll second.
Been moved and
Thank
seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
I
Opposed? Carries 5-0.
I think we're gonna do that before we get too far along.
Uh, all right, Steve, pool project, any other incidentals you want to throw out? Pool project, folks, we were on for over a week. But, well, you talked to me.
Lance and the water guys discovered that we had a pretty significant leak in the pool. And I went up with Jay to troubleshoot, and the entire pool vessel is surrounded by rock. All of the plumbing is surrounded by rock. So there's absolutely no way to tell where the leak was coming from. It wasn't surfacing. So we had to use our best guesses to try to figure out where to dig without replacing the entire lines. So we worked on it from last Friday until Jay is wrapping it up today, pretty much. So it's been over a week, but Lance estimated it would probably save about $30,000. We did break out several pieces of concrete and we ended up we had it televised. We did everything that we could. We pressure tested, we leak tested, and we ended up finding some mechanical fittings that were loose right at the vessel. So they're meant to flex because the pool moves up and down as the ground freezes. It's a small amount, but it was really tough going. We had to shovel everything out by hand. We did use some smaller equipment from Jay, but I know he put in way over 20 hours of overtime. He worked on every Saturday, Sunday. I don't think he worked on Memorial Day, but I tried to be up there with him as much as I could because it was just, you dig in gravel and it just keeps caving in on you. So he did a great job. Lance helped out a lot. Everybody stopped up when they could to help, but as far as I know, it's holding steady, but the leak was 10,000 gallons plus a day. So that's not sustainable. And Jay has offered to be the pool helper, because I used to be the pool helper because I was always here and the park and rec guys came and went. So Jay said that he would be the one to help winterize it and start it up every year so that he's very skilled at these things. So I kind of showed him what I knew and we learned together. We went over maps and he's confident that he's going to be able to take over and help Lance with that. And I think that's a great move. So I'm glad that he volunteered to do that. Municipal has been here the late last week and this week now, jetting, root cutting, and televising sewers. They helped us televise part of the pool project last week. They were on 11th Avenue today, north, and found some tree roots in the sewer, which we're going to address. I was on site at a couple of potential water leaks that Nick has identified. So they're not surfacing. So the guys are being very proactive about trying to like find water leaks that aren't coming to the top of the ground, like popping storm sewer lids and sanitary sewer lids, just in case something's getting in the ground, and go listening to valves to see if they can hear anything hissing. And they're doing amazing work, and I can't thank them enough. It's going to make a big difference. It's going to make a huge difference. I didn't have a whole lot because I was working on the pool most of the week last week, and I was in and out of the office later on in the night, but I just tried to keep up with emails. So the Kirkwood thing's a big deal. The pool is a big deal. And Mayor Fish and I are going to wrap up the union contracts and all of the wages and everything next week, and do some things that we haven't been able to workshop some things together for a week since I wasn't here. So we're going to do some catch up.
Questions? I think with the project on 9th Avenue and now the one at the pool, you already saved your money hiring a heavy equipment operator.
I was gonna say that, but
Yeah.
I didn't quite, I thought you were saying 9th Avenue was like 20,000 or something like that.
Well, and then the concrete work that we've been doing around, I mean, it's already, 2 months
So
we're
two-
covered.
2 jobs we've already.
And you saved a park and rec guy from having a nervous breakdown.
Well, there's no way.
He's just been going nuts.
Yeah, Lance was.
Trying to do fields with T-ball and then
No, no.
back and forth. And he told me yesterday he had junior golf practice and then he had to do fields. So he felt bad. He left Jay up the pool. Jay was prepping for it. So I got concrete coming in at 10 and he said, I don't think I can make it back. Jay said, I don't need you. And when he got back up at 12:30, Jay already had concrete poured and smoothed out and was done. He was putting up barricades to keep people from walking on.
He's part of the team, but he's also a one-man show when he
Well,
needs to be.
My observation going up there watching, he never sits down. I mean, unless you pull him out of the dig pit and say, I need to talk to you. Otherwise, he's always finding it. Just think what it would have cost us to have those pools.
It wouldn't even be fixed. It wouldn't even be fixed.
Yet. No, I know that one would have been, he says 30,000. I think you bring in that pool people, that's gonna be 50 or 60 minimum.
I don't think they would have found
I
it.
just think we proved right there that this was, anything else for, meetings? Basically, the only one I went to is EasyCog. It was a normal meeting with budgetary stuff, approving the budget and payroll there and approving loans. And the loans that go through the EasyCog, which is all federal money, have to be businesses that can't get loans anywhere else. We can get them through. We've never had a Belle Plaine starting business that needed one. We approved 2 spas last week, and that was about it. Thing I did want to bring up in my report, how do you want to do the next June meeting? Because I want to go to the sewer plant. So do we start the meeting out? Because I don't want Belle Plaine Development to have to wait till we get back. So do we open the meeting, have Belle Plaine Development on the first one as soon as we approve the agenda, meet with them, then go to a recess, go to the sewer plant, and I don't know how long you're gonna be there. Depends on how interested you get in smells, sights, and sounds. Can be some interesting rooms down there.
You gonna bring pizza?
Yeah, absolutely.
That be towards the.
Well,
Down in the
or
meeting, or you can mostly act.
do you want me to go through all the action again? I gotta have Nick meet us there to do it. So how do you want me to set up the meeting?
What does the agenda look like at this point?
Well, we got a bunch of 4th of July stuff that's gotta be done. We got a bunch of salary stuff that's gotta be done because they're new salaries.
2 ordinances, 2
2 ordinances, so
Union contract.
The ordinances are the
Yeah, the
water.
water
sewer.
ones.
Yeah, it's like,
We can probably be done by 6:30. tough.
Nick will do whatever it takes. So if you guys want to do that after, towards the end of the meeting or even after, I'm sure you'll be fine.
I think we should just do everything
Yeah.
and then go down there. That way we're not traipsing back in here.
And then dismiss the meeting down there.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll have the camera.
Now, I'm gonna ask, no, we are.
I was gonna say,
we're
you
let
gotta
them
when we're
know
down to the
it
sewer
won't be
plant,
on,
we have a
and
remote
then
meeting.
we can't
That was a
really
joke.
bring the public in down there. So does that make it legal for us
Well,
to
it's
be?
not, it's not a council meeting, it's a recess.
It's like a work session.
Yeah, it's not.
All right, so if we do we have to close the meeting here and go down there?
I would suggest you close the meeting. If you
Close
get all
the
your
meeting.
business done, adjourn the meeting.
Okay, got that TV land? If you want, all those out there watching this on TV, if you want to tour the sewer plant, call up here. We can probably arrange it. See where your money goes.
Literally.
Yeah.
Or at least where your last meal went.
We'll have a sale on little plastic army men.
False teeth. You get all kinds of stuff down there.
I've heard. So that was really all I needed to bring up there. Any questions from the council? Because I have no correspondence, I have no old business. Resident comments.
Welcome. We're
Can't
Thank you
wait.
so much.
We're very
Can't wait to
excited.
see you
We're
open up.
excited.
Yep,
Can't wait to be open.
that's great.
I guess I would have, because I was out sick yesterday, folks. I stayed in all day because I could have gone to the grand opening of the brewery in Athens this afternoon and been involved with the ribbon cutting. They think that would be cool because they'd all be getting, have a taste, and I couldn't do that about to run a meeting. So I stayed away from it. If there are no resident comments, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
I'll motion for adjournment.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
No discussion necessary. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0, and you're out at 6:42 p.m.
You guys really wanted me to go to the fire meeting, didn't you?
No.
Yeah, we were counting on it.